The mausoleum itself was older than the rest of the cemetery. Here lie those who must not be forgotten. Hi, I'm Max, and this is Echoes in the Dark. Tonight, we're telling the story of a cemetery of forgotten souls. Chapter 4. The Mausoleum Door. The heavy stone door loomed before Daniel. Half open, a gap just wide enough for darkness to spill through. The mausoleum itself was older than the rest of the cemetery, its walls cracked and blackened by time, ivy coiling up its sides like veins. The names carved above the archway were almost illegible, worn smooth by rain and centuries of neglect. But Daniel could make out a few words. Here lie those who must not be forgotten. The inscription echoed the whispers that had haunted him for nights. He raised his flashlight, its weak beam trembling against the stone, and stepped closer. The air grew colder, dense with the smell of damp stone and old decay. The instant he crossed the threshold, the door creaked wider, as though the mausoleum itself were exhaling a long-held breath. Inside, the light from his flashlight danced across rows of tombs stacked against the walls. Dust motes floated through the air like ash. The silence was suffocating. Daniel set his camera on record mode, the faint red light blinking in the dark. He took a cautious step forward, and the door slammed shut behind him. The echo rolled through the chamber like thunder. "Hello," he called out, but his voice came back distorted, warped by the acoustics of the tomb. Then, faintly, he heard it. Soft footsteps circling him. He spun around, shining the light across the tombs. Nothing. Only the faint shimmer of mist curling along the floor. A whisper rose from the shadows, familiar yet not. "You shouldn't have come alone." The voice was that of the old man from the choir. It sounded close, too close, but there was no figure to be seen. Daniel swallowed hard. "What is this place? Why are you still here?" Silence stretched for several seconds. Then the temperature dropped suddenly. His breath came out in clouds. From afar into the mausoleum, a faint blue light flickered, pulsing softly, like a heartbeat. He followed it. At the back of the chamber stood an ancient sarcophagus, its lid slightly ajar. Symbols covered the stone surface. Circles, crosses, and something that looked like a tree with roots spreading downward. The blue light seeped from within the cracks of the lid. As Daniel leaned closer, the whispers returned. Not chaotic this time, but unified. Hundreds of voices speaking as one. "Do not open it." Daniel froze. His instinct screamed to turn back, but his curiosity anchored him to the spot. He brushed the dust from the lid, revealing words chiseled into the stone. Margaret Whitmore, keeper of the names. He remembered that name from before. The ghost beneath the oak tree. The woman who had spoken through the mist. A sudden image flashed in his mind. Margaret kneeling before the graves, whispering names, trying to remember them all. She hadn't been cursed. She had been protecting them. Before he could process the thought, a violent gust of wind swept through the mausoleum, scattering dust and slamming the inner tomb doors. The flashlight flickered, and for an instant, Daniel saw them. Countless faces pressed against the walls, eyes wide with fear. The voices screamed, "Don't let her wake." The sarcophagus shook. The blue light flared, filling the chamber with blinding brilliance. Daniel stumbled backward, covering his face. The air crackled with energy, and a deep, guttural groan rose from within the tomb, echoing like a low hum that rattled his bones. And then silence. When Daniel dared to look again, the light was gone. The mausoleum was still. His camera had stopped recording, but etched into the dust before him were fresh words, as if carved by an unseen hand. "You've seen the door. Next, you'll see what lies beyond." Max speaking from Echoes in the Dark. Stay curious, stay cautious, and stay tuned for the next chapter.